Hey, welcome back to the Bucky Worlds. Bucky here, and it is tire changeover time. Got the 2002 first generation, also known as AP1 Honda S2000. Wintertime tire is a 195/60/16 Nokian Hakkapeliitta. I run square, meaning same size all around. From the factory, Honda S2000s have staggered tire setups with a wider tire in the back, narrower tire in the front. But I run square tires summer and winter. Again, 195/60/16 Nokian Hakkapeliittas. Great ice tire, studless ice tire. Getting ready to put on my Michelin Pilot All Seasons in 245/45/17, running these square also. You get a little bit more tram lining, a little bit more tendency to follow the ruts in the road with a wider front tire, but it really simplifies life. And I'm getting great tire wear out of these Michelins, and frankly, they're pretty expensive. So the ability to rotate them and even out the tire wear, it's pretty big for me. Another great thing about these Michelin Pilot All Seasons is they're non-directional. So I can put them on any corner of the car. I'm really getting great even shoulder to shoulder wear out of these. No cupping, nothing unusual. I have 2 degrees of camber on the rear suspension, 1 degree of camber on the front suspension, and you couldn't tell it by these tires. They're just wearing perfectly. I couldn't ask more for them. Well, the only thing I could ask for is more tread life, because this is probably the last season on these Michelins. They're getting a little bit sparse. I'm gonna have to be on the lookout for any heavy downpours of rain, because they're really not capable of siping away and channeling away very much rainwater in their current condition. All right, so I've got the DeWalt. I've got my torque wrench for when we're done. Got the floor jack under the jacking point. My hands dry out like mad, so try to work with the nitrile gloves as often as possible. And let's get her airborne. Gosh, I got this floor jack at Costco, I don't know, 20 years ago, something like that. Holding up real well for me. God bless Costco and the fine work they're doing over there, huh? No problem for this DeWalt to bust these loose. I don't know why we were suffering with pneumatics for so long like idiots, but lithium-ion batteries to the rescue. These things are much easier than they used to be. So you know what, let's take a quick look at the suspension on the S2000 here. It's a double wishbone front and rear, 4-wheel disc of course. They've got remote reservoir shocks from the factory. Nice delicate looking little upper A-arm there. Looking forward to getting the pressure washer out this spring and cleaning her up real good in here. So obviously independent 4-wheel suspension. You can see the rear sway bar link there. Unusual chambered muffler with the U-turn built into it there. There's a mod for the stock exhaust system. I think they call it the UK mod. I'm contemplating doing that to get a little bit more sound out of it. So anyway, nice competent suspension right from the factory. Honda knows what they're doing, and they did a great job with it. Anyway, let's continue on. Get these sweet Michelins mounted up. This is so much easier on this car than the tire changeover on Boss Lady's 4Runner. I just did that. Ray, when did we do the 4Runner's rims? Was that last weekend or the weekend before? Weekend before, wasn't it? And those things are heavy. They give you what for? All right. I turned the torque down to 1 for the install. I don't like to, oh, you know what? With these rims, I use the slim line socket so I don't tear them up. It's a thinner wall socket. It's kind of a tight fit on these Anki. Anybody know the pronunciation? NK? Anki? The company is ENKEI. These were closeout rims of theirs that I bought from Tire Rack a few years ago. In fact, I bought them bundled. Use the #1 setting on the DeWalt for installing, keep them nice and gentle. These are hub centric, and I don't use the centering rings anymore, and frankly haven't been able to really tell a difference. So I just kind of gently snug them down the first time around to try to make sure that the rim can shift around a little bit and be as centered as possible, even though again we're not using the centering rings. And then again, it's only a #1, so I don't know what this is, 15-20 foot-pounds, just enough to take up, because I'm gonna support the car on this much and then wait to get it back down on the ground to get out the torque wrench and get them finalized. So zip off the fronts here. I've got it back up to #3 strength on the impact. No problem cracking those loose. Funny, just certain habits. I even take lug nuts off in a crisscross pattern. I don't know if that's necessary, helpful, beneficial in any way or not, but it's just a habit, and I don't think it hurts. All right, get one of the other all seasons over here. Yeah, these do not have a lot of tread left on them. Where are you? Beautiful day here in lovely Eagle River, Alaska. I'd say it's about 40 degrees. Rymush and I had the S2000 out, top down earlier. Driving around, took him to his first ever football scrimmage at the McDonald's Center here in Eagle River. Had a great time. His team won, the Lions. Nice job, Lions. Way to go. And I suspect once I get these tires on here, he and I will take a road test, make sure everything's vibration free and happy and so forth. All right, put the gun back down to #1, snug these up. You can come out, Rymush, it's okay. Oh, you're doing the best you can. He's got a project going on, so got a 5-gallon pail with a bunch of water in there. Important irrigation project, no doubt. And of course, tightening, of course, I always use a crisscross pattern in everything I do. All right, ready to drop her down. S2000 weighs 2,800 pounds, so obviously no trouble for this 2-ton floor jack. Oh, Rymush has cones set up, very helpful. Welcome to the driver's side. Gotta move my rudimentary chalk over and grab my DeWalt. There's a very, very sturdy reinforcement on the rocker of the S2000, and you don't need to use any kind of adapter or anything. As long as your floor jack gets low enough to get under it. Not a lot of extra room. Oops, and I just nudged it, and that's already too high. All right, and right there. That's the engine, known as the F20C in this first generation AP1. The engine is fully behind the front axle. I believe it's a 50-50 weight distribution. This jacking point is obviously more towards the front. By the way, that F20C had the highest specific output of any normally aspirated internal combustion engine at the time, 2002. Just shy of 240 horsepower from 2 liters. And it had a fuel cut right around 9,000 RPMs. And that's without titanium connecting rods or anything trick like that. Just solid engineering and strong steel and a very sturdy twist-free block. So great engine. I mean, 240 horsepower isn't the world these days, certainly, but it's a very engaging, entertaining car to drive, and I liken the powertrain characteristics and the spread of power versus torque to very much like a 4-cylinder Japanese motorcycle. So it's kind of a CBR 1000 with 2 doors, in my opinion. Okay, driver's side rear. Again, it's so convenient to not have to fire up the air compressor and drag out the hose and drain the water out of the bottom of the compressor tank when you're done and all that garbage. So much easier to just come out here with an electric impact. Zip, zip, zip. All the torque in the world that I could possibly need. And again, thankfully, well, that's not good at all. I just knocked the wheel weight loose. You know what, kids? What's that, a half gram? I mean, half ounce? Quarter ounce. We're gonna go crazy. It's the only balancing weight on here. No other weights, so interesting. It'll be very cool to see if I just screwed up my final season on these tires or not. By knocking that weight loose. Man, I suppose if it weren't for centrifugal force, there was so little holding it on, it would have taken off long ago. But anyway, that's a quarter ounce between friends, right? As some of us used to say back in the day. Wink, wink. All right, get these all started. I used to put white lithium grease on the lugs, believe it or not, because up here in Alaska, we're changing the tires twice a year, hand torquing them. Even with some lift grease, they don't really have much of a chance to break loose on you, so I don't do that all the time now, only occasionally if they're starting to look particularly dry or crunchy. But again, all of our rims and tires come off twice a year, and you have a chance to put hands and eyes on them, so things don't get too far. You know, you don't get a lot of, I don't ever get seized lug nuts, or even very ornery ones, to be honest. Again, we're on the number 1 setting, lowest torque possible on the DeWalt. 1/2 inch impact, lifesaver. All right, left rear is done. Moving on to the left front. Reverse, back up to number 3. Zip! Come on, man. Pardon me? Okay, I'll leave it open. Good kid. I was hoping he would help me out with this today, but he's got his own, again, critical infrastructure. It's something with an aquifer and irrigation, I guess, that Rhinebush has going on. So I'm working solo in the driveway today. Nice. So that's how quick all 4 corners go for me. I really should change out of my fancy work jeans for this work. It's funny to me because they're Costco Kirkland jeans that I think, what did they cost? $12 a pair back when they used to carry these. They don't anymore. They haven't lately anyway. So I should try to take better care of the ones that I have. Getting started, nice and easy. Never a problem. When you do your own stuff and you don't have a meatball with a 500-pound Ingersoll in his hand, cross-threading things and making trouble in the house. Snug. I'll go one more time around. And like I said, that brings it up 15 or 20 foot-pounds, somewhere in there is my guess. Just enough to support the weight of the vehicle just fine. Let it back down. Oh, good to have you back, old friend. Gosh, doesn't she look good with those? They're not the coolest rims on the block these days by any stretch of the imagination. Just a simple 5-spoke, but they're light and airy, and they really show the, I like this. I like the hub curve of these rims very much. You can tell better on the angle to the front here or not. Hey-o. But yeah, that curve inward from the spoke into the hub face there. Just a big fan of that. I don't recall exact factory. I'm going to torque these to 90 foot-pounds. Trusty old Craftsman half-inch torque wrench, courtesy of my buddy John O'Hara. John O'Hara Real Estate, look him up. Great guy. Never have to question a thing he does. Trust him implicitly and always have, and it's never steered me wrong. Anyway, John bought me this torque wrench in exchange for helping out with a Harley project on his ex-wife's bike. Click, click, 90 pounds. Cross pattern, as always. I'm only going to do it once. Sometimes I do it twice, but I can tell these are solid. Gonna do the other side off camera real quick, but you got the gist. Obviously, you watched me do that side. Same thing. Other verse, same as the first. Detorque the torque wrench so there's no pressure on the spring. Throw the impact back in the garage. Put the sockets back in the trunk. I keep a breaker bar back here. That's my lug wrench, and I got the adapter too as needed. Always back here in the subwoofer box that I built. All right, let's get Ray's football stuff out. All right, gonna tidy up a little bit more, and let's hit the road. Me and Rymush out on Eagle River Road here. Lovely day, March 22nd, 2025. It's about 40 degrees, 39 degrees. Got the new, got the summer tires switched back on. They're far from new. Michelin Pilot all seasons. Again in 245, 45, 17. Stock on this car were 16s, 205 front, 225 rear. Bridgestone, I think they were a Potenza, but so these are a little bit wider than stock, but not that much. The 225 Bridgestones were actually wider than their dimensions might lead you to believe, and we're very close to the same width as these 245 Michelins. So anyway, these are the summer tires. They're probably their last season on the S2000. Got a budget for some replacements. What a difference, going from the 195/60/16 Nokian Hakkapeliitta ice tires, studless ice tires that I use in the wintertime, to these nice, wide, confidence-inspiring Michelins. It seems like the tread's a lot noisier, if I'm not mistaken. But of course, the cornering is going to be just so much better. Beautiful day in Eagle River, Alaska. It's the southbound view on Eagle River Road. Eagle River Road was resurfaced, actually fully revamped. It was straightened in places. It was a real simple two-lane, 55 mile an hour, granted, but a two-lane nonetheless. It still is a two-lane, but they really broadened the shoulders, improved the guardrails, took some of the dips and hops and frost heaves out of it, and it's just a beautiful, beautiful road. Any commentary, Rymush?
Subscribe to Bucket Balls.
I can count on you, can't I? You always get the plug in. My man, my son, my co-pilot. And frankly, the future owner of this S2000, if it all goes well. I think Ray and I will freshen up the body and paint on it. Mechanically, she's pretty sound. Burns a little bit of oil, but S2000s are known for that, especially the first generation F20C motor. I'm gonna free up the rings one more time with some Berryman's B12 solvent. Check out my channel. I outlined the procedure last year, and I plan to do the same thing again. Try to decarbon the piston rings and try to free them up on the piston and reduce the oil consumption if I can at all. When I was a Ford service manager back east, we quoted people a quart every 900 miles as being normal and a non-warrantyable situation. So this car is not much worse than that. It's about 105,000 miles on the motor. It's not gotten any worse in consumption since I got the car 12 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever it was. Anyway, the tires feel great. Again, the roads are a little bit gravelly and wet, as you can see today. But on a nice hot summer day, it'll be a real treat to come out here and exercise these lateral G and grin-inducing Michelin Pilot all seasons. And again, 2002 Honda AP1 S2000. I just realized I don't have a nickname for this car. Any suggestions? Drop them in the comments. All right, Bucky Worlder as well. There's our test drive of the tire seasonal changeover. And I also want to report that lost quarter-ounce weight on the left rear did not affect a thing. We had it up to speeds which would definitely have given some indication if there was an imbalance. I'll just put it that way. Good ride, good time. We're at the top of Skyline Drive in Eagle River right now. Beautiful view up here. Denali off to that side on a clear day. Not today though. Popular setting off point. There's some trails that go up the hillside there. Got a drone hobbyist getting ready to take off here. And also some paragliders, sailors come up here frequently as well. Just a lovely place. Skyline Drive, Eagle River, Alaska. So that's it from here. Hope you had a good time. Please check out the rest of my channel. Please subscribe and look out. We're going to be coming up with some merch soon, it looks like. So stay tuned.